I'm not a lawyer, but Monday was day 11 in the take care of Maya trial, and Maya Kowalski was the witness of the day. Now, in my opinion, and y'all know I'm not a lawyer, but she was a great witness. She was very clear and sure of herself, also gave really heartbreaking testimony. So let's start with the testimony she gave of the last time she saw her mother.
The last time I saw my mom, my dad wasn't there. My mom was like picking up her work bag and just like little things she had brought to the hospital, and she said, "I love you and I'll see you tomorrow," and I never saw her again.
From there, her attorneys asked if the doctors ever talked to her directly about Munchausen by proxy or having conversion disorder.
They never told me straight up. They never said, "We think you have conversion disorder." They never said, "We think your mom has Munchausen by proxy." Instead, they would give me like little clues in the things that they were saying. So, for example, when I expressed to them a symptom or like my pain, they would say, "No, you're making it up," or "It's in your head."
According to Maya, since the hospital staff didn't really believe she had CRPS, at one point she was held in a room for 48 hours as an attempt to force her to move around so that they could prove she was making it all up. Just watch.
They left me there for 48 hours under surveillance, which they did not tell me about. They had a commode in there and they just put it far enough away from the bed so I would have to physically stand up and use the bathroom. I called the nurses whenever I had to use the bathroom because obviously I'm not able to walk. And when they refused to help me go to the bathroom, I would defecate on myself.
And allegedly, things like this were happening frequently in the hospital.
There was a point where they were moving me up to floor 7, so that called for a bed change. But even though I had told her I cannot walk, I cannot stand, I cannot roll, she threatened me. She said, "If you don't move right now," what did she say? Or else. That's what she said, or else. "If you don't move right now, or else." I remember the or else. And I just started crying because I'm so scared. Like, my parents aren't here. I have nobody that I trust. And this random lady is threatening me. And I can't even perform the movements that she wants me to. So she yelled at me for quite some time, telling me to roll over. "I know you can move. I know you're faking it. Just stand up. We all know." Eventually, she gave up because I could not do what she wanted me to do. She went out in the hallway, grabbed about 3-4 nurses. They lifted me up by the sheet of the bed itself to transfer me, and she dropped my arm really hard in the bed. Now, that's insignificant to most people, but to a person with CRPS, it's like falling on concrete. Like, it hurts so bad.
Next up in Maya's testimony, she told the story of how she found out that her mom had passed. According to her, her father Jack, brother Kyle, and her priest had come to see her to relay the news. But shortly after doing so, they were told they had to leave the hospital. So Maya, according to her testimony, was left at the hospital to digest this heartbreaking news by herself at 11 years old. On January 13th, 6 days after her mom had passed, Maya was released from the hospital. And even though she was in worse condition than when she went in, Maya says she was determined to get well and to do it without ketamine.
"I didn't consider my circumstances. I considered my God. I didn't consider what I didn't have. I considered the resources and tools I had. I had to shift my entire mindset. It was so hard, but I did it."
And you did it without use of any ketamine or any other meds?
I did.
And why not? What was your worry if you did?
I was scared that I was going to end up in the same situation I just got out of.
So at this point was a break in Maya's testimony. The jurors are not in the courtroom, and the hospital attorneys address the fact that they have filed a motion for a mistrial. And it's because they say the Kowalski family attorney keeps implying that the hospital and the hospital staff are the ones who prevented Beata from seeing Maya. But the hospital attorneys say that once the protection order was put in place by the judge, everything that happened after that was out of their hands.
We again would like to renew our motion for mistrial. This is the 4th time that the plaintiff has suggested to this jury that All Children's was responsible for the separation and the continued separation of Maya Kowalski. We believe that a mistrial is not only appropriate for the intentional question of that to Ms. Kowalski while she's on the witness stand, but the cumulative nature of this now being, by my count, the 4th time that the plaintiff has suggested to this jury that that All Children's was responsible for both the separation and the continued separation of Mike Kowalski.
I again point out, as I did up here, that there was a court order, and you knew there was a court order, yet you asked the question again. So you've got to stop that, or there will be a mistrial, and there will be sanctions. Please don't put me in the position of starting this whole thing over, because I will.
I understand, Judge. It is a bit of a minefield out there, but I will.
Well, this one is very clear. There is a court order. Florida law provides immunity for anything having to do with that, and that's been the subject of many court orders, many discussions for the last several years. Please don't test me on it.
Now, let me remind you, one of the things the Kowalskis are claiming in this lawsuit is false imprisonment. And because of the court order, they have to prove that the false imprisonment happened prior to the court order being put in place. So going forward, they're going to have to be very specific about the dates that they are referring to and the language that they use, or else it could be a mistrial. Now, on cross-examination, the hospital attorney asks Maya about some pictures that were taken. But just listen to how Maya responds and doesn't really back down from the attorney's questioning.
You are aware that there was a second set of photographs taken after you returned from court to document the differences.
The truth is, I feel like I would have remembered that, and I don't have any recollection of a second set of photos being taken of me.
So at least as you sit here today, you don't remember whether two sets of photos were taken, but it's entirely possible there were two sets. Is that fair?
I really don't think there is two sets. There was only one set taken, Kathy and Alicia. I remember a group of doctors coming into my room and asking if I would be ready for the second set, and I told them, no, I don't want to, and they didn't do it.
Okay. And I guess the reason I ask is the photos that the jury were shown, do you know whether those were all taken at one time or whether they in fact reflect photos taken before court and photos taken after?
To my recollection, it was that one set. I was changing from my pajamas to a court outfit.
The attorney continued with this line of questioning, and Maya was pretty sure in her answers the entire way through. And that was pretty much her testimony. There were some depositions that were played for the jurors yesterday, and I'll keep a watch out for the next witness that I can give you guys a recap on. How are y'all feeling?